see if you can get your art in the Middle East. So I showed up at that particular place at a particular time. There used to be a big table way back down by the bar, and I sat at the table, and gradually other artists started showing up, and maybe about half hour later Tom shows up, and that is how I got my first solo show in Cambridge. It was in the other part of the Middle East, and I had a reception there and everything. And they ripped out of the blue. Tom basically represented me for a couple of years at the Prospect Street place. I remember going to a great many musical performances there that were just amazing. Now, does anybody remember how there used to be a Chinese restaurant somewhere around where the Asgard wound up going in, and it was like this red and gold painted thing? What was it?
Mary Chang?
No, it wasn't Mary Chang's. It was like down at
All Asia.
All Asia.
Yeah.
And for a while, Tom was organizing shows over there too, and I had a show over there. So, I have followed where Out of the Blue has gone, ever since it was in Prospect Street, Mass Ave, over in Alston, and he and his work really have been woven into, and all the people I've met through him have been woven through my time in Cambridge for the past 15 years. So thanks.
Hey everyone, my name is Bob, and this is really sad for me, passing to Tom, but it's also a happy time to reflect on all the great things that Tom did for everybody. Some of the things that I remember were he had goldfish in the backyard at the Out of the Blue. He had a nice little goldfish pond, and I thought that was like he had arrived, and I was like, okay, Tom, this is really nice, And then he always had the kitties and the dogs, and he always had potato chips and hot dogs, but I don't eat meat, so I was only eating potato chips. Thank you, Tom. And but the biggest thing for me was that Tom just accepted everybody unconditionally. He didn't care, And I'm forever grateful to call Tom Tipton my friend. He's the godfather of Central Square.
Yeah.
I like that.
Thanks, Father.
I hate talking, but I'm going
Go, Mindy.
I met Tom in my early 20s. I just turned 50, so a while ago. Time flies. I used to walk around with my little djembe, and he recruited me at the 1369. And I had no social skills whatsoever in my early 20s. So when people say he accepted people, he really accepted people. I barely talked to anybody, but he recruited me, and I played in Crazy People for a little bit of time. And he dragged me to parties. It was always, I said this before, he was always a polite person. He wasn't like being weird, like sometimes older men can be with younger women. And I don't know why I said that. He was always just an awesome person. He treated me like a person. He wasn't like, oh, this younger 20-something-year-old. And I went to he would drag me around to parties with him, and I remember him playing on stage, and myself, a guy that played a drum set, and Tom, and he was so passionate when he was playing his songs that he was always breaking strings, and he didn't even like necessarily change them either. He was like, and the string would break, and he would just like mesmerized and playing, and we were just like, okay, we kept going, and he's just a passionate person. And actually I don't know how many people know that he actually made art. I don't know how much art he made, but I bought a piece. Do you remember, Samantha? A copy at the Austin Gallery. It was like a black and white spooky looking print of a girl holding something, and he colorized it and he matted it in like this really neat dark shade of purple frame. So I wish I'd brought it with me tonight, but I ran to make the train, and I forgot Samantha's flowers. And I don't have like a real blood family so much, and so my friends are my family, and Tom was like an uncle to me, and I still feel like he's here. And the happiest thing that I ever saw was him meeting Samantha, because I've never seen him so happy, and I felt protective of him. I never told him, because I'm not that mushy, like that you're like an uncle to me or anything, but it made me so happy that he met her, and they were just so in love, and it was like great, the last years of your life, you found the love of your life. That's what we all want, you know what I mean? And there's Samantha was with Tom for a while, and they were living together, and it's a big loss in a lot of ways, and anybody wants to add some money in Tom's name, please do. And Tom, I love you, and he's our rock and roll angel.
Yes.
Hello. Someone is a local legend because for every person I'm so glad is here, there's another person for whom I'm glad is not here. I am sorry if I am a disappointment in the category. My name is Chad. I wrote the eulogy after hearing Tom's passing that one person responded by going, "Dude," with 2 sets of ellipses. I wrote it in about 20-30 minutes. It was my raw thoughts, being someone who was part of the Cambridge area for a long time. You might remember me as hosting over a decade of Stone Soup at the Out of the Blue, 3 weeks at Yarrow. Does anyone remember Yarrow? That was a fever dream. So what I'm about to say is more or less what I wrote, and maybe a couple of edits. And just in case this did not come through in the piece, no one did more for the local arts here in the Boston area and Cambridge than Tom Tipton.
True.
Nobody. And to a suicidal degree. I just found out this morning that Out of the Blue Gallery co-founder Tom Tipton passed away. I heard he had a heart attack and was in the hospital, but never got the chance to notify others. Fucking Tom. Fellow patron saint of lost causes. Despite the horrible people he got close to, despite the bridges burnt, he never gave up. Never giving up on your dreams is as dangerous as any human addiction. You live and die by it. There are those artists who just double down on the alcohol after a while and drugs, but keep the poetry under control. Then there are people like me, the ones who can't quit no matter how much discomfort it brings to ourselves and people around us. We're like Jerry Lundegaard from Fargo with fewer kidnapping plots. And among us, there are those who double down even more, who go all in. That's how you get places like the Out of the Blue Art Gallery. I was introduced to it when it was still on 106 Prospect Street. 1 week when advertising Jenica Stuckey at Stone Soup, the Weekly Dig calendar mentioned how the gallery smelled of, quote, cat urine and schizophrenia. The gallery moved around a lot, but they lasted longer as a physical entity than the damn dig. Any asshole can gather people online nowadays and call themselves a host. Stone Soup every Wednesday night from 7 to 9. It takes a special kind of delusion to create a physical space for artists, poets, musicians, crackpots, and all of the above. Unfortunately, it takes a miracle for that space to last. Other poets gave me a chance to be in front of an audience. Tom Tipton, along with Deb Priestley and a host of others, gave me and so many others a place to practice. The Out of the Blue cannot be duplicated. No one would be crazy enough to try. Ask me over in Arizona, Arnold Palmer Light, how that works with any other place hosting open mics in the real world. I'll tell you anyway. The director of the last gallery I hosted Stone Soup in announced they were canceling all poetry gatherings for monetary reasons, and then chewed me out for an hour because I told people what they announced. If it wasn't for my life choices, I would have been trying to gather Stone Soupers in Alston, in Somerville, wherever I heard the Out of the Blue Gallery was currently gathering. For every holy shit moment, there was an oh Jesus Christ, not again moment at the Out of the Blue. The amount of times I wanted to play the Deliverance dueling banjos every time Tom Tipton hopped out of the hatch when I was introducing an open micer with his girlfriend and his girlfriend's daughter. I'd have a lot of nickels, is what I'm saying. It'd be weird I had that many. He was another like-minded individual who I know was as irritated as me as I was by him sometimes. But, as you might say in an unwritten here lyric, that's what crazy people do. Farewell, fellow insane son of a bitch. Thank you.
Hey everyone, it's nice to see everyone here. I think I see a lot of familiar faces, and Tom did this, right? He brought us all together. So I think I knew Tom from being in the music scene, music art, right? And he was at the All Asia. Yeah, there you are. And I think that's how he recognized me. And besides him sitting in front of the gallery with EXO, you know, being in Cambridge, I would just see him walking by back and forth every day, and he was just a staple in Cambridge. And I didn't know him. I finally got to know him. I'm like, God, this guy's pretty fucking rude, right? But me being me, I just kept giving him love. I'm like, hey Tom, hey. So I'm doing this new thing with my business, and I'm a psychic, and I want to like do readings in front of your gallery. What do you say? He's like, fucking do it. Do it. So I put out my tarot cards with the table and my crystals in front of his gallery. And he was like, I don't care, do it. And I did it. It's the first time that ever happened in fucking Central Square. Because Tom rules. That's Tom, right? He like knew me, he didn't really know me, he knew my face. He's like, just do it. I'm busy doing stuff. But he trusted me, and it's funny because as begrudging as he was, he had so much love. He poured out love because he gave everyone a chance. He gave everyone a try. Like, so I had, my sister is an artist, and she paints, but she's also a psychic medium. And we had this crazy idea about, listen, we're gonna put out art, and we're gonna do readings, and we're gonna sing. He's like, well, okay, whatever. Just make it happen. Make it work. Don't fuck anything up. And we did. And it was an amazing show. And when, you know, if you knew Tom, right? If you knew Tom, you could see, even if he was upset and mad, you could still feel the love coming out of his heart, right? That was him. That was him. He was just love. If you really knew Tom, he was love. So I brought this little teddy bear for him. So if we have a magic marker somewhere, I we can write on it and sign all your names and put it with his stuff. It says, I couldn't find the Cambridge one, sorry, but it says, someone in Boston loves you. You can cross it out and put Cambridge if we want. Right? So just put your name on it and put a little note on it, all right? I love you, Tom. Thank you. You brought us all together, and I hope that we all stay together. Who's taking over? Who gets the torch now? We need you.
I guess.
We need
Now
you.
that you did
Hey, what's up? I'm Pete. I got to volunteer at the gallery for years. When we went homeless, we ended up living there. Tom's taken in like a lot of homeless artists over the years. Like there's probably been like over 100. Like if you added us all up, he's taken a lot of people in. And he's provided like a place for everybody to get together and share their art. And it's just like, anyway, Tom is like, when I like to think about, because you can't be a perfectionist with art all the time. You gotta just like get, because if you take too much time, you never finish something, you know? You're like, you just don't finish it because you're like, you need to be perfect. And Tom understood that you just had to get shit done. Because it's like Tom was always bumbling around because he had 5 things he had to do and like 20 things somebody just handed him. So he's like cursing under his breath. And he's like stumbling around. He's like, oh, wait, you know, he's got to get things done. And he couldn't, he's just going out of his mind trying to do the basic shit because he's got 20 other things to do at the same time, right? So anyway, I was painting the gallery one day and I was really proud of my nice line job. And he comes along. And he's like, let me see the paintbrush. And he's just like, just do it like this. And he's just like, I'm like, okay. Anyways, that's Tom. He like knew how to get shit done. If there was like a 2-prong and he needed to plug a 3-prong into it, he just ripped the fucking ground off. And with Tom was awesome. We need more people like Tom to provide places like out of the blue.
Hey, I'm Tim. I knew Tom for a long time. There's a few moments that are burned into my mind forever. One time I had to help you go pick up a couch. We're driving around, and we got somewhere in the middle of Boston or something. Going around in circles, I felt like I was inside a Zap comic. And he was smoking a big fat blunt in the car. And I was working for the FAA, so I couldn't have any drugs in my system. But I was like, I gotta help him. I said I would. And I was scared and angry at the same time. And then he goes, hold on a second, I gotta stop over here. And he gets out of the car. The car's sitting there idling in somebody's driveway, I don't know, full of pot smoke. And I'm sitting there watching my FAA license go out the window. And then I hear this voice in the back seat. Somebody goes, hey. I turn around, I'm like, oh, there's a third party in this. I turn around, I don't know who it was, but it was a friend of Tom's. And she goes, yeah, I saw a movie last night. I go, oh yeah? She goes, yeah, it was really good. I'm like, what movie was it? She goes, I don't know. I took a Klonopin. And I was like, my heart goes out. Whoever that was, I hope they're okay now. I got love for them. But the thing about Tom was, for all this like flying on the edge, R. Crumb kind of stuff that you get involved in hanging out with him, at the same time, for a period of time, my understanding was that he talked MIT into giving him a storefront on Mass Ave. And he turned it into a giant happening. And when you see like how one business gets squarer and squarer and squarer, and Central Square gets squarer every minute of every day, they're cinching up the belt of tyranny and capitalism. Tom was like this giant boil that they, for a short period of time, they were afraid to squeeze it. And they didn't have the tools to lance it. So he was able to develop this petri dish a radical weirdo artist across the street. And you're walking down Mass Ave, you're coming from the river, you're walking down Mass Ave, and you're going, MIT, shiny, shiny, expensive, shiny, expensive, dull, expensive, what the is this? What the F is this? And it was the Out of the Blue Gallery. I remember walking in there it was like, oh, well, let's see what's happening. And there was always something happening. I remember one evening I walked in, and my guess, when I spin the clock back, maybe it was somewhere near Easter. I have no idea. But I go around the corner to where the sketchy stage is, and there's some screeching electronic music going, and on stage is a stuffed lamb suspended by its neck between two stepladders. And these people in togas made out of bed sheets are stabbing it with swords made out of crumpled up aluminum foil and cardboard. And they're stabbing this lamb and squirting ketchup on it. And like, hey, I'm a kind of alternative person, right? But I'm standing there, my jaw hits the floor. What in the dickens is this? And I was like, oh man, it's Out of the Blue Gallery. There's always some kind of crap going on here that you ain't never gonna see anywhere else. And that was the thing about Tom. He was fearless in scooping up the dregs running from a storm in the gutter and finding the pearls and spreading them on stage. That was the amazing thing about Tom. Every time you thought it was all gonna go south, somewhere in the middle of it, there was a shining vein of beautiful, glittering gold going through it. I missed that son of a bitch. I miss him. He was great, and he was a great instigator and a great supporter of all the arts. And made all of our lives richer for it. Thank you very much.
That was really good. I was laughing. Oh, you can't help but smile.
Hey everyone, I'm Scott, and well, Tom was my friend. And he's my friend for so long, I honestly can't remember the day I met him. Sometime in the 80s, maybe? Ever present, always a friend, always supportive, and always filled with this sense of play. And, you know, the outpouring of love on Facebook, listening to all your stories, listening to everybody talk about how Tom saved them, how Tom supported them, how Tom helped them, and how Tom, you know, kept that sense of childish like wonder and joy through everything. And Tom was a tough guy, okay? Tom didn't mince words. Tom could be a pain in the ass sometimes. And, you know, we have him at Stingray, we have our art shows, we go to the art shows, we bring things, but and he affected so many people. And like, I don't know, for me, I kind of feel like, you know, like, what are the reasons that the universe brings people together? What causes that? How does that happen? That your energy brings you in contact with somebody, and then, you know, I'm gonna miss him for the rest of my life. There are gonna be times where I'm just gonna say, you know, but I sort of feel, and I have the feeling that so many of you do, and I want to express it, is that like, that bit of energy and that example of not giving up, not surrendering, not taking shit, of encouraging, of empowering, of sacrificing, you know, for the greater possibilities of whatever might happen, and just having faith in that carrying that legacy forward, that like a responsibility for me to bring more of that into my life, to offer more, to help more. Like, that's the true legacy of Tom. I think it's more, so many funny stories. I love hearing them. We need to spread that love. The world needs it. What could be more necessary now, at times like these, is to live up to that example. And I sure am gonna miss that little guy, because he was my friend. So thank you all for sharing.
Yeah, hi everybody. My name is Giovanni, and I know Tom for a long time when the gallery was in Brooklyn Street, over 170 Brooklyn Street. That's the first time I went there, because I met him on Fort Channel, where I used to have my studio. So I met him, he invited me to show. That was my first show there. And then after that, things kept going. I was going there, it was packed all the time, it was nice. And then he moved to Prosper, right? And people don't remember, but people will remember, but nobody's saying is that it used to be, before EXO, it was a bear, the big door, the white one. It was white, yeah, it was awesome too. So things went by, and I saw what he was doing, it was excellent, supporting all that. And it also happened that I developed a studio. It was called the G Studio, and at the end of Mass Avenue, where with Dorchester and Mass Ave. And I started, it was a huge place, 5,000 square feet. And I was renting studios out, but also I built a stage and a gallery. And I was trying to bring people over there. So I was not successful. And what happened is that I mentioned Tom, hey Tom, you think you can use my studio too to do what you were doing, And that guy, he went there and said, oh God, this is good. So he started bringing artists, started putting shows, musicians. I met a lot of people, and it began to be like a routine. Every month he was making a show, telling me, hey G, I have a show for you. I have to line up artists, musicians, and then artist shows. So we started doing that together, and it was great. And that's how he helped me so much in that, and that's how I started running that place. I don't know if people might hear about the G Studio. It was just awesome, and we keep doing it, and then eventually, I mean, the show was so big, we packed the place, and the owners started concerning about it, and they didn't renew my lease. So that was it. Well, plus another problems I have with them. They didn't like what we were doing, but we were doing art, and it was just great. It was art space. It was, but the owners would come like bad people. But anyway, so that was the end of it. And but with all of that, I mean, then he moved to Mass Avenue, and then also, we keep the friendship, and it was just always a great thing to have the Out of the Blue there and be able to go. And it's amazing how he helped too many people. Helped me, helped many artists, helped many musicians, start a movement, some sort of. And it's so sad not having him anymore. But we have to say thank you very much, Tom, for everything you did to this city, to everybody. Thank you. Yeah, it was amazing.
He's from way back in the day, the original place. That was nice.
Are you going to talk soon?
After. Let's see if there's anybody else that wants to. get up there. See if there's anybody else that wants to get up there. Anybody? Somebody?
This has been amazing.
I know.
If there's anyone else who wants
Oh,
to
go ahead.
Careful.
Have a sip of your.
I just want to, hi, my name is Judith, and I also met Tom down in Cambridgeport. What street was it? Brookline Street, I think it was. Yeah, there. And I remember wandering in, and I just felt right at home right away. I had a place to be. I could sit down. I could talk to the dog. I could look at the art. It was comfortable, and I loved Tom from that moment. And he was very special. There was nobody like Tom. He was utterly irrepressible, unapologetic, brave, very brave. And I don't know if he knew how brave he was. He just kept doing what he wanted to do. And I followed him to Prospect Street and then up here. And this place up here on Mass Ave, like, you could be wandering around and just wander in at 11 o'clock at night and be sure to find something incredibly cool going on that you could never have predicted. So, it's like a home for artists and weirdos and people that like places like that. So, thank you very much, Tom. I am so grateful I knew you. You are missed. You will always be missed, and your memory is a blessing. Thank you.